Let's get ready to... Just kidding. I was going to do my WrestleMania intro, but instead, welcome to Hump Day Hangouts, episode 138. We got almost the full crew, except Bradley is on vacation. I know we all thought that this was actually an impossible situation, but Bradley apparently does take time off. It has been confirmed. So let's go down and say hello to everybody. Chris, how's it going, man?
Doing good here. Finally a bit of cool off here. Yeah. How are you doing?
Nice. I can't complain. About the same. It was just nasty hot like the last week. It's been humid, and then now it's just kind of blue sky, 75. So I'm a happy camper. So speaking of weather, Marco, how you doing?
Oh, dude, it's nasty cold here.
Is it like 68?
No, 70. It rained, so the temperature went down about 10 degrees. I hate it.
Yeah, that's tough, man. We really feel for you.
I know.
Roman, how you doing? Are you cooking in Tennessee, or how are things going?
It's actually quite nice. It's been about 78 degrees during the daytime and about 65, 60 at night, so it's been perfect.
Outstanding. This is good. I like the weather update we go through. So, Hernan, if you'd like to tell us about winter.
Hey, guys. What's up? This is Hernan reporting from the cold Argentina. All good, man. Yeah, Bradley's running in the mountains, apparently. So, yeah, I'm excited to be here. We have a bunch of new updates and a bunch of new good questions for today. So,
awesome. Well, yeah, do the updates real quick and let you guys know about a few things. First of all, if you're new to Semantic Mastery, first off, thank you for stopping by and checking out Hump Day Hangouts. Please get your question on the page. And also check out the Battle Plan SEO Blueprint. I'm going to put a link on there with a special offer. We really appreciate the people who have already taken us up and then taken advantage of the updates. And we got a lot more coming with the Battle Plan. Also, if you haven't yet created your free account at Serpspace, head over there. I'll drop the link in a minute, but it's just serpspace.com. There's been a ton of back-end and front-end small updates going on. We got some really big projects underway. And there's actually a sale ongoing right now. So if you're a subscriber at Serpspace, you would have heard about this. But Roman, I don't want to give anything away, but I think we got a couple of things that are being worked on, right? A couple of big projects.
Yep. One of the big ones that we got going on right now is just going to be a revamp of the whole front end. You know, we've gotten a lot of feedback from people, and they want to understand a little bit more about all the different products that we have. So we're going to be incorporating proper sales pages into there and facelift, and that's what we're working on right now. But we've got some great products that are in the works right now, such as basically full solution SEO packages.
Nice. So, yeah, I think some people might have already been pinged by you for that, right?
Definitely.
Cool. All right. Well, okay. So, go ahead.
Yeah, no, Roman forgot to tell them traffic on demand.
Yep.
We're working on traffic on demand. Real people coming to your website on demand. How cool is that? It's being worked on. It'll be a while, but okay, I won't.
Moving right along. Update, we did send out an email, but 4th of July sale coming up next week. We're going to have some really cool stuff. So I'm glad Roman's here because there is some stuff going on right now with Serpspace, but we're also going to have some special offers. So it's going to be kind of a Semantic Mastery 4th of July sale, but we're also going to have some Mastery PR stuff going on. And then some Serpspace special offers for Semantic Mastery followers. So stay tuned for that. That's going to be next week. And then I believe there might be a webinar or something in the future. Marco, can you look into the crystal ball and kind of tell us what's going on?
Yeah, well, there's so much misinformation on the web, which we try to clean up, right? We try to clarify. We try to give people a clearer idea of what's going on, so that every time someone says Google, they don't go running under the bed, right? And hiding and cringing and crying and the world is coming to an end, Chicken Little type shit. And so I'm gonna start another series of just clearing everything up so that people know what's going on, because what people are saying isn't actually what's happening, and we've proven it time after time that whatever they say, especially when it's coming from Google and you have these Google mouthpieces just regurgitating whatever Google says, which is 99% bullshit unless you can get behind everything that's being said. So we're going to start a series where we're going to be doing that now. Part of it is going to be for members only, because we're going to get deep into some stuff, especially KML relevancy, adding relevance to your local. And your local, when people think of local, especially in ROIS, they tend to think of local plumber, local this, local that. But your local could be your neighborhood, your city, your county, your state, your country, area of the globe that you want to target. The local is relative when it comes to ROIS. So we're going to just clear up a lot of stuff. That's coming. I'm not sure when the dates are because I have to work on it. I'm still recovering from back surgery. And there's things that I have to take care of before I do any of this. But that's coming also. And yes, most of it will be free. So
awesome.
Look forward to that.
Good deal. All right. Well, yeah. Well, we got a lot of stuff coming. So we'll wrap this up and get into questions here. I do want to ask one thing. If you have watched this before, or you're watching today, and you like our content, if you could leave us a review and tell others what you like most about Semantic Mastery, Hump Day Hangouts, Syndication Academy, Battle Plan, whatever it is, we'd appreciate it. We want to make sure other people know about this too. We can say it's good, and we get feedback, which is cool, like reading support tickets like, hey, this was great, or I wasn't clear on this. Can you answer this? And then, hey, thanks for all the information, your YouTube channel, all that type of stuff. But if you can leave us a review on the Facebook page, and I'll pop the link up there, we'd really appreciate it.
All right, sounds good. So let me share my screen real quick. And I'll also try to read like an adult person the questions that we have. Can you guys see my screen?
Yep.
Okay, so we have a bunch of good ones. So let's see, Alexander. Okay, let's quickly get down to business. Quick one. When publishing a PR that links to my money site, should I post the article first on my site, let it index, and then send the PR with a link back to that post? So it will work like the post was syndicated from a money site, or no need to post first on the money site, just blast the PR. Usually, Alexander, maybe you guys have a different way of doing this, but I just blast the PR. It would be a good idea though if you want to push an article, or if you want to push a page, within an article, within your website or whatever that is, to set up an article and then link from the PR to that article, let it index, and then push the PR. But I don't usually repost or post first the PR, like the actual press release article on my website. I just, blast the PR, and then I link back from the PR to my website, to the internal pages, or to the article that I have done, or whatever, whatever that is. So that's basically what I do in terms of the PR, unless you guys have any other method of doing this.
No, I think that's perfect. I think that the PR is the announcement of something that happened with a product, service on your website. I know that Bradley, every time he gets a review, he does a press release. I got a review. And so there's a ton of things that you could do, but the idea of a press release is that you're announcing something that happened or is about to happen on whatever property it is that you're trying to drive the links to. I think, to me, that's the main idea behind doing a press release.
Yep. So about PBN links, should I add full post in the homepage, and because of that, many outbound links on home, or add an excerpt on home with a MS link on it? So money site links they'll show on the homepage, and cut the article to show most of the authority links on the post page. If I create a really relevant article curated with 3 to 5 authority links times 8 posts on the home, that it's 24 to 40 outbound links, what is the best way to do it? So I'll tell you my way of, or my logic behind PBNs, Alexander, and then I leave Mark or Roman and the guys to comment on this. So first off, I will vary it a little bit, right? So if you check, like most of many websites, they have full posts. Many websites, they only have an excerpt. Like, for example, newspapers will have an excerpt of the news, and then they will have an internal page exclusively for that post. But I wouldn't be that much afraid of outbound links, because we have shown and we have proven that outbound links, even further, if they are authority backlinks, and by authority meaning backlinks that come from authority sources, that could be other newspapers, not competitors, but other authority websites, they usually increase. They actually help you increasing the authority of your own website. Okay, so authority is a two-way highway, if you would. You know, so you give authority to the target, but you also get some authority back. So I wouldn't be that much afraid of outbound links. It's not like it was like 3 or 4 years ago when you had to have, you know, 10 outbound links at most on a PBS, because otherwise you will start bleeding link shoes and whatever. I literally do not believe in that. And if you check the biggest websites out there, they link to the sources. Wikipedia will have a shit ton of outbound links, you know, on the footer. Like, you want to cite your sources, you want to have many authority outbound links. And that's the way I would do it. In any case, I would definitely vary it within, you know, your PBNs, between full posts and excerpts. What do you guys think about this?
I mean, for me, I set up sites a lot of different ways. You know, I've done, over the years, I've set up traditional sites where I used to have PBNs for blanketing everything. And then I started moving into a lot more relevancy type of PBNs. And since then, I've done a lot more static type of linking on the homepage, but it doesn't mean that there isn't other ways of going about it. You know, if you have short little excerpts on your homepage, you're linking down to 10, 15, 20 articles. You're passing all of that relevancy and that juice from that homepage down into those inside pages, right? So, and you're powering all of those posts up. So it depends on kind of what your purpose is with what you're trying to do.
Right, right. Yeah, I definitely agree. I definitely agree. So let's see. Mark is next, and he asks, Semantic Crew, Mark here, how is it going? Bradley, I love your answer last week about the call answering service for Mohammed's question. Would you be willing to share some of the screening questions that you use, please? That will be a big help. I found a company in my hometown that offers this exact service. It's a 10-minute walk away. So I would love some advice on this, as I love the idea of pre-screening calls. Yeah, Mark, unfortunately, well, Bradley's not here, but you can ask, you know, on the next Hump Day, or we can relay your question to him, or you can come and ask on the many Facebook groups that we have, because I know that many of you guys are, or we have been using pre-screening or call centers to pre-screen the calls. If you remember last week, we talked about how these can actually increase the value of the leads that you're selling, right? Because you're pre-screening them, they have an actual interaction with a human being. So I think these are, you know, these can be much better qualified leads. So yeah, we can relay this question to Bradley so he can answer them. He can answer it on the next Hump Day. I also have something a bit cheesy, but it might help. Some I don't know, but let's continue with the cheese anyways. The quote is from Joseph Campbell, and I love this. The cave you fear to enter holds the treasure you seek. I have this pinned down on my wall, as the fear of contacting business owners has definitely been a stumbling block for me, as video marketing has been my main skill set, but local SEO not so much. Even though I'm gaining traction with local sites and also local videos, that fear has me held back for sure. And those well-lit caves are barren. Is that dark unknown cave in the corner? That's the problem. But I feel this is a quote to live by. What do you think? End of cheese. Yeah, Mark, amazing quote. I think this is true for all of us. Like, I think this is true. Like, the true growth of any business owner or any entrepreneur of anyone, for whatever reason, is outside of your comfort zone, right? So I think that the more you're willing to step out of your comfort zone, and the more you're willing to do stuff that you're not completely comfortable about, the more you grow. And this is true for entrepreneurship. This is true for business owners. This is true for pretty much everything. You know, when you are doing those things that you're uncomfortable about, the more you do it, the more you become comfortable about, and your comfort zone grows, right? So then if you start calling people right now, you start calling these local, you know, businesses owners, and you start talking to them, I think that there's a lot of value in this, and there's a lot of value in doing exactly what you fear, because that's where the opportunity for growth happens. And then it's just become natural. And then on to the next thing that that you're afraid about, right?
Well, yeah, then you can take on stuff that you hadn't even considered before, you know, that becomes your next thing you fear, and you just tackle that. So Also, I want to say, I think that's awesome. It's not cheesy at all, Mark. I think that's really good. And it goes in line with the book I was reading. I think I talked about high profit prospecting. So if you want a copy of that, just shoot me an email at support and just tell me, about Hump Day Hangouts, and I'll send you a copy.
Yep. Pretty cool. So yeah, I mean, yeah, go ahead.
Sorry about that, but it's interesting because one of the main things that I try to get through to people is to stop fearing Google. I mean, once you lose the fear of what might, could, would, should, can happen, once you just start doing, then it just becomes, it builds, right? It's like a building block, and then you overcome the next one and the next one and the next one. But what I find a bunch is just that the people are so scared of Google, they're unwilling. They for some reason get to the point where they won't do anything, and they just keep reading and studying and figuring out whether something might, could, should, would work, and that's never going to work.
Yeah, I mean, this you could take this really into a psychological standpoint, but it's fear of failure. A lot of people run into problems. They're afraid to fail. You know, what they don't realize is that each of us has stumbled along the way, I'm sure, tons of times. You know, you're going to do something wrong several times before you do it right. And it's a learning experience. That's how you learn. It's built-in fundamental process of how you learn. Do something wrong, you take those results, you come back to it, figure out what's going on, and you tweak it and tweak it and tweak it and improve on it.
Yep. Were you about to say something, Adam?
No, apparently just breathing heavily or something.
Oh, okay. So yeah, Mark, I mean, the whole concept of Hump Day Hangout is that this is like a mini mastermind, right? So I think this is not cheesy at all. I love that phrase, and I love that question, that remark that you're making. And yeah, that's definitely a phrase to have pinned on your wall, because that's where you grow. And we as entrepreneurs, we face fear pretty much every day because we're doing things that nobody taught us, nobody showed us how to do, or even if they are shown to you, you still have to do it, right? So I think this is a great phrase. So Mohammad is up, and he says, "Hey guys, I'm currently setting up a local AdWords funnel, like the one on Local Kingpin. The niche is home building. So there are 3 main keywords I have are home builders, new home builders, and custom home builders. One thing I do not know for sure is if these count as variations of one keyword, home builders, or multiple keywords. Should I also mention that the search volume in my area is very low for this niche, which is the reason I decided to make one landing page targeting home builders?" Yeah, Mohammad, I think that in terms of AdWords, if you're targeting them with the quotes, meaning they are exact match, those are 3 individual keywords, right? Now, if you're targeting a broad match, or if you're targeting, the similar match, which is with the bracket, those would be variations. Okay, so I think it would depend on how your campaign is set up. But if you're targeting like you're like you have them written here, right, with the quotes, then that's meaning exact match. And Google will show your ads on AdWords when somebody types exactly home builders, right, or new home builders. You can also use the plus operator to broaden your spectrum, as we showed all Local Kingpin. But this, as they are right here on your question, I would consider them to be separate keywords, right? So have that in mind, and it will depend on how your campaign is set up as well. One more thing, is it normal to suddenly have the homepage of a site disappear from Google? One of my homepages disappeared overnight. A site search confirmed that the rest of the site was there, just one homepage, and the highest ranked one was gone. Should I manually submit the link on wait and see what happens? Well, I think it would depend on how long ago this happened, Mohammad, like what kind of link building or what kind of changes you did to the website. It can happen. It can definitely happen. Even further, if you have like one of the highest ranked pages, I don't think there's some kind of penalization or whatever, or penalizing because you're saying that the site colon operator is still showing, right? So the website is showing, so it should be okay. I think it's a little bit of Google down, so I would give it like maybe 1 or 2 weeks to settle, and then see what happens. But I wouldn't freak out because, again, I think if the rest of the website is okay and healthy, and the the main page, the home page, was ranking okay, I would give it like, yeah, maybe 1 or 2 weeks. It would depend, of course, of what you have been doing to the website, and again, how long. When did you figure this out, right? What do you guys think?
If he did the site search, did the home page appear in the site search? I mean, because if it didn't, then he has problems. If it just disappeared from rankings, that's one thing. It happens, and it'll come back. But if you did the site search and the home page is gone, that's a serious problem, because it means it was removed from the index.
Right. That specific page, right? Like the home page of the website has been removed. Well, if you're listening to this live, Mohammad, if you can comment on this, like, did the site operator brought back the home page, but it just, you know, disappeared from rankings, you know, like it's nowhere to be found on the first 100 or the first 300 results, which could definitely happen, you know? So Jay Turner is asking, is there a way to do the Switchbox method with a business Google map embed in Serpspace? That's actually a good question, because the Switchbox method will require a backlink, right? And you can have backlinks on the Google map embedded in Serpspace. Like the Maps Powerhouse will actually have maps embedded, and you could have backlinks on the iframe. But I'm not entirely sure, unless you're using the Switchbox to link back to your website. Is that what you mean, Jay? Like, what do you guys think about this question?
Yeah, he's gonna have to clarify for me, because I'm not sure what he's trying to apply the Switchbox to. Does he want to embed a Google map that he controls? Is that what he's trying to do, and figure out how to link that to the client's Google My Business? That's simple enough to do. But if you're trying to do your own Google My Business to another Google My Business, that's not going to work.
Right.
Or at least I don't think so. That's ambiguity defined.
Yep.
Yeah, that's really tough, because I'm trying to think of maybe like some kind of custom thing, but yeah, I'm not sure. Right.
Yeah, what I would say, Jay, if you're like, have in mind that you're embedding an iframe, right? So whatever you change on the original My Maps will change across the board, right? So if you're changing a link on the My Maps, then you're embedding that, and then if you change the link, it will also change on the rest of the embedded, because the embedded websites, because it's an iframe at the end of the day, right? So that's the Switchbox in and of itself. Like, you can change links on your mind map, and they will change on the websites, unless I'm mistaken, right? Because that's an iframe. That's the way I see it. But again, yeah, you will have to clarify a little bit, because again, if you're linking out to your client or to your own lead gen property, that's easy enough. You just link to your 301, and then you point the 301 to whatever you want, pretty much. David Johnson is asking, is that ET? I don't know what he means with that. So Jason is asking, I'm just getting started with my own SEO business. Congratulations, Jason. You guys are awesome, by the way. No, you are awesome, Jason. And want to know if you have any tips or tricks for getting usernames and passwords from another agency that built the client's site. I keep running into gatekeepers even when I offer to sign an NDA or whatever they need. Yeah, that happens, Jason. Usually, you know, this is kind of tricky, because that's why we recommend you install WordPress on a subdomain. Most of the time, like, you will inherit many websites that are already set up. And that's why we also recommend that you set up your own, you know, your own lead gen and whatnot properties. But yeah, when you're starting out, you will inherit a lot of headaches and a lot of stuff from the previous, from the owner or from the previous SEO businesses or whoever was taking over at that point. That's why we suggest that you install WordPress on a subdomain and you go from there. You control that. You want to have as much control as possible. And then it's just a matter of, in my opinion, it's just a matter of saying, hey, you know, if you don't give me access to the backend, there's no way I can, you know, I can actually help your business because I need to have access to the code. I need to have access to whatever I need to perform, right? That means username and passwords, FTP, cPanel access, whatever you need. But yeah, it will happen. It happens a lot. It happened to me. That's why we recommend starting anew with a WordPress website and a subdomain where you can syndicate out. You can, have your own way, your own way of doing things, and you don't have to inherit all of that, right? What do you guys think about this?
I think that this is an awesome question, especially since you're just getting started, so that you know that part of your closing needs to be, I need access to everything. If I don't get access to everything, then nothing's going to happen. So, that has to be part of it. You have to do it your way in your own words. But when you're sitting with the site owner has to understand that SEO and marketing isn't magic. It doesn't happen, by osmosis. You can't just sit there and poof, all of us, I'm going to rank you without getting access to the website, doing on-page SEO, off-page SEO, and everything else that you need to do. In order to do your job, you need access to everything. So you have to get the owner involved. You have to have the owner. He's the owner of everything. He has to contact the agency, and he has to get those. Sometimes even the owner, they'll hold the owner hostage, and they won't let him access his stuff. So you'll run into that. But I really like this question, and you guys will just have to find a way to formulate your closing so that the owner or whoever it is that your client is understands what your needs are in order to do your job.
Yep. Yeah, you got to put it back on the business owner because that's their previous, they were dealing with a web design company in this particular instance, and that's on them. Like, they need to provide you with that.
Yep, definitely. Yeah, again, you will inherit many of these. Like, I know for sure that if I get a client telling me, yeah, I want to redesign my website, I need some Joomla or whatever, or Drupal, whatever the fuck that is, or Wix, I'll definitely not do it. Yeah, back in the day, I wouldn't even do it. I wouldn't even, dare to do it right now, because you need to go through the code and the logic of another person. And that's complicated. That's why we always advocate for having your own properties and then just selling what the client wants, which are businesses, like business leads, customers. That's what the client wants. He doesn't want to lead with rankings and keywords and charts and those kind of things and backlinks. That's not the way it works, right? The business needs more customers, and that's why the lead gen model or the rank and rent model works so well, because you control the property, you know what's going on. But yeah, then again, when you're starting out, you need clients to pay for the party, as I like to say, and there you go. That's one of the perks. So Colombia is asking, how important is it, and what would be the effect of structured data markup, in the first few weeks of a new website? I do it right off the bat, Colombia. Like, I do it as soon as possible. Even further, when working with WordPress, I install Yoast, and Yoast will mark up your stuff, will add structured data to your pages. So I do it right off the bat. Like, I don't wait for it to to age or whatever. I do it right off the bat because I want to feed that data as soon as possible. And that's part of like best practices in terms of on-site SEO. We talked about that on the battle plan a lot, like on-site SEO. And one of the first steps is to have a correct data markup, even if it's a completely brand new website. Do you guys do it differently? What do you guys think?
I totally agree, except I hate Yoast.
Right. So I know you do.
I code my own. I code my own JSON plus, because I like coding anyway. And so I have the template. I have the template that goes on at the start. And if I need to add to pages or whatever, I'll add the code. You can use a widget if you're using WordPress. So there's plenty of ways that you can work with it. But you can't go wrong, Colombia, with adding to your footprint, with making sure that it's clear. All of your same as, all of your other properties, your address, your at ID, all of the things that you've been learning from us should be applied, like right from the start. At the price, right? It varies, or the dollar signs that Google recommends. Either one works. But yeah, as much as you can get in there to signal, these are signals to rank. These aren't signals for people, right? Although they can be if you're doing rich snippets. I'm not going to get into that. But these are signals directly to the bot to pay attention, because you're doing things the right way. You're giving the bot what it comes in and looks for. Because if you don't, then it goes into your content and tries to extract. And you don't want the bot doing that in a brand new website.
There you go. Roman, any insights about this? Do you do it right off the bat? You wait a little bit to add structured data to a website? How do you personally do it?
I do it right away, and just like Marco, I go in there and add it myself manually. Have a VA do it, one or the other. But basically, yeah, I have a templated out structured data that I just fill out and slap in there. Pretty
cool. Yeah. By the way, you can use Serpspace structured data markup builder, JSON-LD actually markup builder you just input your data there, and it will spit out the code that you need to input. Yeah. Just for clarification.
And,
yeah.
While we're on that topic, that's one of the things I'm be looking at adding into Serpspace the next couple of weeks. Basically, an expert to set that up for you, so you don't have to worry about it. That
there you go.
Is an upsell for IFTTT networks and things like that, so you can just get it done in one swoop.
Nice, pretty cool. Yeah, just for clarifications, Yoast will add some data markup, but some data markup you need to add it on your own, right? And that's why you need to open an account on Serpspace, and a free account, because that's a free tool that you can use. Okay.
And just for clarification, I hate Yoast.
Yeah. Yeah, that too. So, okay. Yep. So Chris Thomas via support, and this is a question for Roman. I don't know how much we can disclose about this, but let's give it a shot. I have a question around your TAS 2.0 gig on Serpspace that I was going to put to you guys. I have a client site that ranks very well for various city plus service plus city plus CBD in maps. It's a CBD location. Example, rotator cuff treatment, Dallas CBD, but does not rank quite well for organic. And it doesn't rank well at all, like not on the top 4 or 5 pages, sorry, for broader search, say physiotherapist Dallas, or even physiotherapist Dallas CBD. Let's say I need to improve my rankings for keywords, say physiotherapist Dallas, but I also want to improvement for frozen shoulder treatment Dallas, lower back pain Dallas. I'm interested in your thoughts on approaching this. Option 1, separate the 3 keywords into 3 separate gigs, say 1 main keywords per month over 3 months. Each TAS 2.0 gig, 1 Web 2.0 will target the relevant service page, serve frozen shoulder treatment. The other 4 2.0 would link to injuries to do frozen shoulder, etc., etc. Option 2, each of the 5 Web 2.0 target a different subset of keywords. So 1 Web 2.0 would target frozen shoulder treatment, another lower back pain, etc. Hope it makes sense. Have a great day. What do you think, Roman, about this? Like, what would be the best use or best practice in terms of this, if we can give something away, right?
So basically, what you have to think about here a little bit is what you're ordering. So each of these sites are going to have we're setting up 5 of them, and they're going to have a home page and 2 inside pages per, or 15 pages total. So based on a few concepts like link buoyancy and things like that, you want to target different pages on your site with this. You can target 2 or 3 of the Web 2.0s at a single page if you really want to push it. If you've had if that page has been around for a while, it has going to it. But typically, especially when I'm first getting started with a campaign, I like to spread it out amongst as many pages as possible. So in this particular example with local SEO, it's likely that you're going to have they're devoted specifically to your different types of services that you're offering, as well as location-based pages. So typically with TAS or DAS, what you're going to want to do is target the service pages themselves with it. So in this case, you could target, like you were saying in option 2, you could target 5 different pages. What you have to think about, though, is that each of these Web 2.0s will be targeting a single page, and you've got basically 3 opportunities there to push that page. You've got the home page of the Web 2.0 and then the 2 inside pages. So the topic for the home page might be, in this case, I wish I knew more about this topic so I could give you better relevant examples. But let's say that you were targeting broader type of keywords like psychotherapist, Dallas CBD. Maybe that's like your silo page or something like that. Your inside page keywords, or what you would want to give us for that, should be something that isn't exactly the same as that particular keyword. Exact same keyword, 2 different ways. You want us to have something that's related to that. For instance, maybe 2 different types of or different kinds of psychotherapists, whatever else type of keywords that you want to target. And it has to do with the way relevancy is passed through. I'm trying to find the easiest way to explain this without giving too much away.
So basically, what you're saying is that, sorry, Roman, but what you're saying is that he can use the gig like initially to power up the entire website, and then he can, you know, he can use this more than 1 keyword for the gig, you know, or a group of keywords. Like, that doesn't necessarily has to do with 1 keyword per Web 2.0. Is that what you're saying?
Sure. So for instance, let me kind of incorporate an example that might make sense, because I would, like I said, if I had knowledge about what psychotherapy actually was, I could be able to give you better examples with this. But so let's say that you were trying to target a personal injury attorney in some random city, right? One of your Web 2.0s could be personal injury attorney. And then, for instance, the keywords that you would use for the inside pages for that could be slip and fall attorney, dog bite attorney. Topically, they're related to the original topic. So you're pushing all of that relevancy back to the target page.
Yeah, I think in order to help him out, like one of the things that he could do is go after something like physiotherapy versus physical therapy, and talk about the differences, right? And that would be one of the ways where you could broaden and differentiate and still provide an example that matches up. You wouldn't exactly go. You wouldn't go the really broad physiotherapy, but you would use like one part, like let's say physiotherapy for back pain versus physical therapy. Is that more how you would want to see it with LSI rather than exact match?
Exactly, LSI type of variation, something that isn't exactly the same, but it could be slightly different, or it could be categorized in the same grouping. It's so when you go to set up your site structure, typically most people put a lot of thought that goes into the site structure itself, right? And this is one of the main topics that really separates people in SEO from experts, you know, from the amateurs to the experts. When an expert goes and sets up a site, they really take a look at what they're going to do site structure wise. They know that they want this page linking to this page and so on and so forth. And so as you set up your site structure, you know what keywords you're going after. You have that somewhere in a document lying around listed out. When you're doing a service like this, if you have all of your data for your site structure and the way you set up your site, you can use that data to feed into this, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I think it does. I think it makes a lot of sense. And also, what you can use is something like, for example, Power Suggest Pro to get additional keywords that people are actually looking for, right? So search intent keywords, you know what I mean? So like people are actually looking for these keywords, and you can use a tool like Power Suggest Pro, of course, vary it a little bit, and that will help you vary in your anchor text profile and also the relevancy that you're pushing to your website, right? So yeah, great question. So thanks, Chris, for asking this. So David Martin, also via support, and he's asking, I have a brand new website with content already published. It's a couple of months old and nowhere in the rankings yet. What Serpspace package would you recommend? How would this work since a lot of the content is already published on the website? Well, first off, David, if you don't have it already, go and get the Semantic Mastery Battle Plan. Okay, ask for Chris or the support at semanticmastery.com for a coupon. Ask for a coupon and get the Semantic Mastery Battle Plan, because over there we have a step-by-step blueprint, if you would, on how to approach H sites that already have content. I'm a little worried though that it's a couple of months old and it's nowhere in the rankings yet. Okay, that's not a very good sign. Usually when you have a WinName domain, when you have a a really powerful domain, it will show over the first 15 days, at least on somewhere, right? Or at least on page 50, page 5, sorry, position 50, or page 4, page 3. Just so you know, guys, if if a website is showing just with on-site SEO on page 2 or page 3, it doesn't mean it sucks, right? That's actually a good signal. That's actually Google is saying, okay, so this website is relevant, so I'm putting in over the first 100 websites. Just have that in mind for that keyword, okay? So it doesn't mean that you should be discouraged. Now with link building and whatever, using Serpspace services, you can get it further ahead. But just so you know, that's, I'm a little bit worried that a couple of months old, is it indexed? How many pages it has? It's completely indexed? And nowhere in the rankings, that's kind of worrisome for me on my, what I would say. Now, with that said, go ahead and get the battle plan. If you didn't have it already, it's just a really small investment. And there you will have a step-by-step plan on how to approach an H website. I would consider this maybe an H website, not a brand new website. If it's a couple of months old, it's just 2 months old or 6 months. Okay, that will make a difference too. A lot of content is already published on the website. That means that you're not publishing content on a on a regular basis. I would suggest that you do so, that you add a syndication network to it, of course, because the time where you would just publish content on a website and hoping to rank are long gone, unless you're using something like RYS Academy or RYS Stacks. With websites, that doesn't happen. You need to publish content. You need to keep the bot coming back to your website. I would start with a press release, and then I will follow the battle plan. We have an entire section dedicated to H websites over there, right? But what do you guys think that David should do for a website that is nowhere in the rankings yet? What's your opinion on this?
Personally, I would definitely be looking at the on page of the site and seeing what's going on, because he should have some kind of rankings, especially if he has a lot of content, right? That doesn't make a lot of sense. He should be ranking, so he's not where he needs to be. So
right.
The on-site first, especially since it's a newer site. I mean, there could have been other things that, could have been tripped in the process if they attempted to do SEO, such as extended sandboxing and things like that. But
right.
I would look at the on-site first before you do too much else to see if there's some glaringly obvious problems, because I would likely think there would be.
Yeah.
And then from there, definitely an IFTTT network if you have content, right? Like, I mean, that's one of the best ways to utilize an IFTTT network or a syndication network.
Yep. Okay. Pretty cool. So Ed Sup, he's saying, I have a loyal client who has had a website with Findlaw for years. I was unable to work in the site, so I created another WordPress site. Okay, good job, Ed. And this is something that we have been talking a little bit before. So he created another WordPress site altogether, which is actually a good idea in my opinion. Both sites were ranking and he's high in maps. Just recently, his phone stopped ringing after getting a ton of calls. I have checked Moz and there's no sign of duplicate content. I'm also realizing I'm kicking Findlaw's ass in terms of SEO because he's Google My Business goes to my site. He is worried because there are now no signs on Findlaw's site when he looks. I go into private and I see both sites everywhere. I have set up a tier 1. He's not sure how to proceed and might want to take down my site. Thoughts? Well, first off, Ed, like if you're kicking, first off, I've never worked with Findlaw. Maybe you guys have. I've never worked with it. If it is what I think it is, which is, you know, a parasite or a website that's hosted within, you know, a subdomain or whatever that is, or maybe they're hosting their websites like, you know, this cookie cutter solutions for lawyers. On this case, I would say that Findlaw you know, they got penalized or they got hit, and that's what it happens. You know, at some point it happens to Pinterest, it happens to, you know, whatever kind of parasite you're having, that happens. They get hit and your website is not yours, it's actually Findlaw's, right? You're paying for it, but that's one of the caveats or one of the risks of having parasites not fully under your control. Now, the other thing is I wouldn't know why the client wants to take down your site. Like if you say that your website is kicking the other website ass, I would definitely keep your website going. Now, what you can do, Ed, is clearly Findlaw's website converted better than yours, right? Even if yours had better SEO and better results, I would say that Findlaw made a better job converting those visitors into sales, right, or into calls. So what you could do is to emulate whatever design or whatever call to actions Findlaw had, right, or has, to apply them to your own website because you clearly control that. Now, I wouldn't definitely take out your website because it's like shooting yourself in the foot, saying, yeah, I'm taking down the only website that I can actually rank or that's ranking. And you know, why would you do that? Because Findlaw's website, he cannot control that, you cannot control that, and not just let him know that taking down your website will only the only thing that will cause is to take down your website, right? Taking down your website will not make Findlaw's website come back up, okay? So what I would suggest also, Edward, besides diving into Findlaw and seeing what they're doing better than you in terms of conversions and try to emulate that on your own website, is going to SEMrush, and plug in their website. Like you can do findlaw.com or you can do their website on SEMrush, and you will see if Findlaw had a hit in terms of, you know, in terms of rankings or in terms of rankings or in terms of visitors that came from organic visitors. You will see that, for example, Twitter had a hit a couple of years back. Pinterest had a hit. If you see any kind of like abrupt downfall in terms of SEO rankings or in terms of organic visitors, that means that Findlaw, unfortunately, it's true. So that's the two things that I would say. And by any means, take down your website because that's like the only thing that the client got left. Does that make sense? Do you have any other thoughts or any other advice for Edward?
I think you pretty much covered it. I would, I don't know if he's from what he wrote, I don't know if he's tracking analytics to his site, because that would be the first thing I take a look at, because he could tell like the phone stopped ringing, right? But I would definitely take a look at analytics and start from there. But there was, I think there was just a recent update that a lot of people were talking about the last couple of days, so that might have something to do with what happened to Findlaw.
Probably, yeah. Let's see if we can plug this into SEMrush, see what happened. Because yeah, turning websites. So I'm assuming this is kind of a parasite, right? So if I plug it into SEMrush, let's see what comes up. Like you can definitely see on SEMrush what's going on. So yeah, I mean, they have been gaining traction, but then they had a dip, right, over the past 2 months. You can see this, right? So you guys can see my screen, right?
Yep.
So you can see it has been gaining traction, but if you check, they had their peak on April, and then over the past 2 months, they have been losing a little bit of traction. So this could be right here, something that you need to have in mind, and maybe they are taking a hit. We should be wait up until like over the next 10 days. It usually comes up the algorithm. I mean, and maybe we'll see a even further downfall here. But if you check, for example, Pinterest, this is also good, guys, to see parasites to rank for. Okay, this is great to see parasites. So Pinterest has been killing it, right? You can see this, that they have been killing it. So if you want to rank something, rank it on Pinterest, right? Because these guys are killing it on the search engines. I don't know, for example, Twitter.com. Okay, if you want to go ahead and open a Twitter account and then you want to rank that Twitter profile, you can see it. But as you can see, they have been getting rankings, and this was when they opened the index, sorry, and then they had a peak over here, and then they just keeping it stable. But basically, this will tell you, Ed, what's going on with Findlaw. All right, and by any means, I will take your website out, because again, that's like the last chance that the customer has to actually optimize that, to make it convert better, and see what's up. Because I'm pretty sure that Findlaw has been split testing their landing pages, and they have been doing their homework in terms of conversions. So you might want to do what they're doing in terms of conversions, right? And I wouldn't take your website out down by any means, because that would only mean that you will take your website down. That wouldn't mean that will not like ensure that the Findlaw website will come back up, right?
That's perfect advice. Copy whatever Findlaw was doing to get conversions. Look and see how they appeared in search results. The title that they were using, the description that they were using, the landing page that they were using, and go set it up on your website. You can change it up a little bit to make it unique, but keep the main elements of where the eye focus goes. And I talked to Ed about conversion a little bit when he came down to visit. We took a look at one of his websites, and one of the big problems was the layout of the lander where people were going. And it might also be that he needs to work on his titles and descriptions so that he gets better conversions from those, or click-throughs, right?
Right.
And the only way that he can figure out the click-throughs is if he goes into Webmaster Tools or Search Console and takes a look at what kind of click-through rate he's getting on what's being served per search. I mean, Google will give you all that, and so you work according to what's being given you, the position. If it's at top 3 and it's at being clicked through, you got a big problem. If people are landing on your page and they're not converting, you have a big problem. So you have issues, direct issues that you can address. But the only way to know is if you find the metrics and analytics and go take a look at it and work from there.
Right. This is, I would say that this is like phase 3 of any project, right? Phase 1 would be the discovery or the research. Phase 2 is actually the setup and the rankings. And now that you have the traffic and you have the rankings, now phase 3 would be to actually make it convert, right, Ed? So I would definitely install the little tool that Adam showed me a while ago, which is Hotjar, which is free. And it will allow you to see where the visitors are clicking, where they are, where they are clicking, where they are like leaving the website. And again, just copy what works, right? So Mohammad, hey guys, I'm watching now. The homepage disappeared about 8 hours ago. About an hour and a half ago, it suddenly reappeared on all keyword searches as usual, and on the site colon search. Now, just after you answer my question, I check once more and it's gone yet again. Yeah, it's definitely dancing, or it's definitely Google watching the Hump Day Hangout and going after your website. Yeah. It could be both of them.
Mohammad, don't touch the fucker for 21 days, at least. Give it 3 weeks. Let it sit. Don't touch it.
Yep. Don't
do anything. Once it settles, take a look at where it is and decide what to do. That's part of the blueprint, right? Taking the next step, the next action. But when it's dancing like this, don't touch it. Leave it alone. Yeah. Leave it alone.
Would you?
It's the hardest thing to do.
Would you even check it?
Yeah.
No, I'm not going in there. Once I see that it's dancing, no, I'm not gonna go and check anything. Site operators, nothing.
Yeah, right. Because you got to remember that if you're doing that site : operator, and just think about it for a second. your site, Google's recording that. That exists in the search engine. That's a unique query, so to speak, that's sitting in the search engine. They record all of that stuff. So, yeah, and again, this is speculation on my end with this, but I have a suspicion that that plays a role into some of the stuff. If you check it too often or looking at it.
Serp watching.
There you go.
You'll get an ulcer Serp watching.
Yeah. Yeah, Mohammed, they are moving the carrot to see if you bite. That's actually a pattern, you know? If you freak out and you start removing links, it will happen. So let's go into Jay's question, and then I think we're gonna wrap it up. On my previous question, I want to use Map Powerhouse to help clients Google Map rankings, but we want the option to Switchbox. Should client be flaky on payment service? Okay, fair enough. So maybe use a Google My Map with client's map embedded, and My Powerhouse, my map. Yeah, that would definitely do it, Jay. That's what I would do. You control the My Map, you control the links, and again, whatever changes you do to the My Map will be reflected all over the place. So don't do the client's map, but do My Map, right? The ones that you control, that would be a Switchbox enough. What do you guys think?
Yep, that's it.
Yeah. All right. Okay, so I think we. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, sorry, I was going to say real quick, since we got Roman on here, I think now's a really good time to answer that last question that Ken popped in there. And Roman, if you have time, do you mind kind of giving the elevator pitch on what the Task 2.0 is?
I'm still in the process of writing this sales content, so I haven't gotten started on this one yet. But just as a quick rundown, it stands for Traffic Authority Stacking. So Traffic Authority Stacking is basically a new iteration of a lot of people were familiar with domain authority stacking, which originally came from Network Empire and Jimmy Kelly. So DAS or Task 2.0 is the next iteration of that. The original version of all of that training discussed things on more of a theoretical level and not so much on a practical level. And this newest version is significantly more powerful. It incorporates a lot more. And basically, in a nutshell, it's an extremely well optimized Web 2.0 that implements into it for highly effective rankings. Typically, these will rank in of themselves very well within the search engine. So if you have something that's not so competitive, don't be surprised if these rank on the first page by themselves.
There you go. Pretty cool. All right. And just to answer, yeah, sounds really good. Sounds really good. I'll definitely try it out. And just to answer Brian, because we went past along it, I think I accidentally screwed up my anchor text. I never used it. Yeah, usually a press release with strictly URLs and brand terms will actually help you dilute and equalize a little bit your anchor text. Yeah, just use with caution, because you already have that that problem with your over-optimized anchor text, but usually a press release will help you out, you know? All right, so we answered them all. So let me put this back on so you guys can see my pretty face. And I think we are good to go, right? Do you have any other announcements?
I think we're good to go. I just wanted to say again, if you can, I'm going to put the link back up there. If you guys, anybody here, if you like our stuff, if you can leave us a review, we'd really appreciate it on Facebook. Trying to help spread the word and get more people for Hump Day Hangouts. So please help us, help everyone else.
Sounds good. Thanks, Adam. Thanks, Marco. Thanks, Roman. It's been a pleasure always. And thanks, guys, for watching. So we'll see you next week.
Everyone.
See ya.
Bye.